Let's
I
get
am
started and jump right in. How are you?
good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm
Uh,
excited to talk with you about supplements.
Supplements today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought maybe we'd just go through the day, like start, if we take any in the beginning of the day, and then how does that sound?
Perfect.
Do you take anything with breakfast or first thing when you wake up?
So I have been this lately taking collagen in the morning,
Hmm.
and it's not a liquid or anything. It's just the um, Vital Proteins brand.
That's what I take from Costco.
Yes. Well, and that's why I continue to take it because it's like the most reasonably priced.
Yeah, and it's a quality one. It's always recommended by good people, I feel like. I don't know.
I get the chocolate one and I have the flavorless one. I like to
Yeah,
put the chocolate one with almond milk and then put that with my cereal.
okay. I just put mine in my tea, and
Hmm.
I'm not putting as much as they say. We just have like a sugar bowl with it. I just kind of dump a little
Oh,
spoon in of that,
well,
whatever.
counting macros, I count it. Two
Yeah, because
scoops.
I just like I don't even know. It's one of those ones I'm like not sure I buy it that it's like really important or really good for you.
Well,
Who knows?
so when I said, well, I just use this one,
Hmm.
I've done some research into this and I know that people have better results when they are taking like a liquid one or when they're taking one that's almost considered broad spectrum because it's from various sources instead of that one is just from one source.
Hmm.
And again, the expense thing and like, having to go to 5 different
Yeah.
places to find stuff is annoying.
I'm pretty skeptical because I don't remember a lot about collagen. I'm gonna be in a protein structure chemist like in my past life. But what I do remember is that it has a big repetition of certain amino acids, right? Like especially glycine and proline, hydroxyproline. And it doesn't matter what organism it's coming from or whatever, it's gonna have a lot of those kinds of amino acids. Like
Mm,
most of the proteins will be so similar between different organisms.
oh,
Just
okay.
like, yeah, just like I
The
mean,
One
yeah.
of the people I worked with for a while, she wanted to be sure it was coming from like eggshells and from meat, like bone pros.
Yeah,
So I'm not really
cartilage.
sure. I'm not going to be able to like articulate that again because the world of supplements can be so confusing and overwhelming. I did just chat with Brittany's boyfriend, Hamilton, and I said I take the collagen powder, and he referred to, I believe, Dr. Rhonda Patrick talked about a study where they injected mice with a placebo and then they injected it with collagen and then they had the mice exercise and the collagen was dyed. And after the exercise, they could see the collagen in the like joint areas of the
Ooh,
mouse.
well,
So,
that's cool.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's one of those things, I don't feel it, you
Right, right,
know?
right. Yeah, she's very good at vetting research. I think
Yeah.
she's really, really, yeah, like I definitely trust her. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like, I don't know, and it's supposed to
Right.
be good for your skin because, of course, we got a lot of collagen in our skin and
And
we
your
lose it
nails
as we
and your
age.
hair.
Yeah, we lose the collagen as we age, and like that's why our skin sags and stuff. And we get wrinkles and all that. But it's always like, well, is that really going right into my face or
Right.
whatever when I eat it? Or is sometimes they say that vitamin C is better at building your own collagen or helping you make your own.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But we will continue to
Yeah.
buy our
Just going to put it in
proteins at Costco
this week.
and
So I have decided I sneak it in sometimes with my athletic greens. So I do
Mm,
take athletic greens every day now,
mhm.
in the morning, partly because right now I'm doing BCAAs, like a mix, before I work out and then right after. So I'm trying to use up the watermelon one that you recommended to me, but I can't stand the taste of it.
Oh, really?
So it's
Truth vegan BCAAs.
it has too much stevia, I think, for me.
Mm.
And so I put that with the athletic greens. I
Mhm.
hope that doesn't like destroy the athletic greens or whatever,
I
but
don't think so.
and then the two together, it kind of tastes like a chocolatey treat thing.
What?
I
That's so
know.
weird.
It's really weird.
I wouldn't expect green vegetables plus watermelon to equal chocolate.
I know. I know. It's
Okay.
very strange. And I have to make sure I put a lot of ice in the shaker because I
Mm,
like it nice and icy
yeah.
cold.
Yeah. I find that like cold does help stevia. I can't stand stevia in a hot drink like
Mm.
tea, or like I tried that before, tea or coffee, and it's like, oh, this is so nasty. But in like a cold lemonade or something, or I don't mind it in this at all either. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's, yeah, I take BCAAs also only on the days that I work out. Just before my workout, I'll drink most of the cup of it. I do like almost a scoop. I don't even do a whole scoop. A, because I'm a little cheap, and B, because I'm like a little small. So I'm like, maybe you don't need the whole scoop.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so that's what I do. I drink most of it before I work out. And then when I come home, I'll dilute the cup again and have
Mhm.
like a really watered down version to just drink the rest of after I
I
work out.
I did order Honey Badger, the brand Honey Badger for the BCAA supplement, and I have a lemon lime one. That
Hmm.
one's very tasty. And then
Oh,
I got a peach mango,
whoa.
which is decent.
Sounds weird.
Again, it needs to be like pretty, not super cold, but it needs to be chilled at least.
Yeah.
It's refreshing, especially, I guess this is one of the things I can use during the cut to feel like it's a treat
Hmm.
because it is a sweeter type drink.
Hmm. Yeah, we should make sure we explain what all of these are for too. So
Yeah, that's what's going to be so interesting is sometimes I take things and I'm like, why do I do this one
right,
again?
yeah, I know, you forget. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the BCAAs for sure, this is promoting muscle growth and recovery, being stronger. It's got all the branched chain amino acids. That's what it stands for, which is leucine, valine, and isovaline. And mostly leucine. It's a 2 to 1 to 1 ratio, leucine, isoleucine, valine. And yeah, it's just like those are the amino acids that make your muscles grow the most.
Yes.
So that's
And when
cool.
I'm like in a caloric deficit, it's
Mhm.
important to have those to make sure I'm not losing the muscle. I want to lose the fat, not the muscles.
Right. Yeah.
And
Um,
in the morning, then the other thing I take is generic, I mean, not generic fish oil, but I take my omegas in the
mhm.
morning and a zinc.
Which one do you take, omegas?
Nordic Naturals.
I think that's what I take. Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, but I don't take it in the morning. Yeah, this one,
hmm. Yep.
I got the bonus size.
Yeah. I always buy the bonus size.
Yeah, I think Nordic Naturals is really good in part just because it's purified and the fish is actually anchovies and sardines, which are small fish
So they're not
that don't tend to be
getting
contaminated,
yeah.
yeah, with like all the heavy metals that, the big fish that have been eating all the little fish can just build up. So
Yeah.
that's
Like
good.
in the sushi, I really
I know, I
like.
don't eat tuna anymore.
Ever?
Basically. Every once in a while, but really like it's like a once a year, probably,
Yeah.
maybe twice.
We go to
Yeah.
sushi like once a year. So, oh,
Oh wow. Yeah, we have it more than that, a little more, but I just don't generally get the tuna, you know.
I love super. What
Um,
is it? Is it
oh,
Toro?
the
I
white
think
one.
the
Yeah,
fatty.
the
Yeah.
super fat. Yeah, I don't know what that's called. I think
Oh,
Toro is just the regular one.
okay.
I'm not sure, but
Well, the one that I'm talking about is usually market price. And I didn't realize that one night
mhm.
and I
No,
ordered.
oh, was it really a lot?
It was a lot of money.
Okay. Yeah.
uh,
So
so that's
the
kind of in the mornings for me. What about you?
so the mornings I don't take anything else, just the
Oh,
collagen in my tea and the vegan BCAAs before I work out.
mhm,
Uh, I guess I'll move on to lunch. I mean, the reason why we take the omegas, right? There are a lot of reasons for that one. Or a
right.
lot, it does a lot of good things. So, I mean, whether it's like the heart benefits or like, it's good for your brain.
Yeah.
So,
And good
things
for
like
mood.
mental health, yeah,
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff it's supposed to be good for. So I don't take, they sometimes people say like 3 or 4 grams of that, and I only do the one capsule, which is like 1.280 grams total of the combined omegas. So I don't know. But I feel like, oh, it's a good thing to do, and I'll just do a little bit. Now lunch is really when I take the bulk of my supplements. I have one of those supplement
Oh,
containers
very
that I'm
nice.
showing, and I just filled it because today at lunch I ate the last day of
Hmm.
it. But basically, once every 2 weeks, I'll just fill all this up, and I have my supplements here. So I did the omegas I put in. Explained that. I usually stick in a digestive enzyme,
Mm,
um, which I don't probably always need, but I feel like it helps. There was a time, maybe I don't even need it now, but a couple of years ago when I was seeing a functional medicine practitioner, she was a nurse practitioner, and she said, you're not totally digesting. I can't remember what test it was, but
mm,
like at the time
hmm.
he recommended this, and I just keep taking it, but not at every meal. But since
Yeah.
I take my supplements at lunch, I always just throw one in because it's easy then. And then at dinner, if we have like beans, or if we have like something with a lot of protein or fat, I'll be like, oh, I think I might need an enzyme, so I'll go grab one.
Mm, hmm.
Um, but then the next thing, so I take a couple of, well, I take my vitamin D then also. So lately I've been taking the D3 Maximus from a Wellina brand that has vitamin K1 and K2 as well. But I was taking before that, and we'll probably go back to, got this on Amazon, the Nature Wise vitamin D3 5,000 I use, because I definitely have, speaking of Rhonda Patrick, um, I definitely have a lot of genetic variations that make it really hard to like have high vitamin D levels. Like I'm
Hmm.
prone to being deficient. And so I don't know if have you done your genetics?
No.
Like 20. Okay. So a few years ago, and I know it was at least 4 years ago, because it was in LA instead of here. I did uh I did the 23andMe genetic testing. And then she's got her own interpreter of that stuff. So you take
Mm,
your 23andMe, and at the time, I don't know, she kind of changes this every once in a while, but and I have done the updated one, but probably also not in a couple of years. Um, and you put it through, you give her the file, or on that website, Found My Fitness, and you get a report from her. And I think I paid like only $10. I
oh,
don't
wow.
remember if it's like a donation now or how she's working it, but um yeah. And she gives you a big 35-page document.
Oh, my goodness.
And yeah, but some of it is less, like most of the pages, or what page did it start? I was looking at it again today. Most of it is less noteworthy, but the noteworthy ones for me, there are several for vitamin D, so that's interesting. And then the other big one is MTHFR
Mm,
mutations.
hmm.
So that's like it makes it hard to break down homocysteine, which gets elevated when you break down, you have your proteins break down and stuff like that, or when you're metabolizing protein. So that's really, it's really important not to have high levels of that. So that will
Mhm.
build up with these genetic mutations unless you give yourself, like it helps if you supplement with things like B2, B6, B9, B12. So that's why I take this methyl guard.
By Thorn.
Yeah, Thorn methyl guard plus methylation factors. So yeah, that's basically got those things. Oh, as well as betaine. Yeah, they said betaine also lowers. It's basically all these things that can lower homocysteine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I don't know if I've tested for, I gotta get a copy of my, since I stopped going to that nurse practitioner,
Mhm.
and just started going to like my regular MD. I'm pretty sure they test for homocysteine still, but I'm not totally sure. So
I've never seen it on any of my
I've never
reports.
I've never gotten, so I've seen her twice. Had two full physicals and I haven't asked for the results, but I really should. Like that's stupid not to look at your test results just because everything was normal, you know. I'm just kind of
Right,
like,
because
oh, okay, yay. You know, like I've been in kind of the mode of I'm gonna stick my head in the sand and just be glad everything's normal according to the regular MD and just whatever, you know, even though I know when I go somewhere else, there's things that can be worked on.
yeah, like when that I just get so frustrated when, I'm paying for health insurance and the people I get the most information from and the most help from are people that are not on my insurance at all. Right? Because
Yeah.
when I went to get blood work done, I had to ask, well, can you do a vitamin D? Like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you just do that?
Right.
And I was in the normal range,
Yeah.
but people have to understand that's the normal range of like an average American,
Hmm.
which we're finding out that like this is a huge problem, like
Hmm.
systemically, that
Hmm.
so many people have a vitamin D deficiency. So, right, if you're taking a bunch of sick people and you're the average of the sick people,
Yeah.
that's like when my girlfriends complain about weight gain or stuff with that's kind of indicative of thyroid issue happening.
Hmm.
And they're like, yeah, but my thyroid is normal. I'm like,
Yeah.
normal compared to
Right.
not an
Yeah.
optimum human.
Yeah. And I mean, when you like talk to more thyroid experts, at least like functional people, they want to get your TSH, this thyroid stimulating hormone. They want to see that a lot lower than the other people do
Mhm.
because you will tend to feel better when it's
Yeah.
yeah. And they also want to test for the other things, the other thyroid
Mhm.
hormones, actually, just because you can be normal in TSH but show
Yeah.
some other issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
So
gets really, really exhausting when you're like, I know something doesn't feel right. Like I'm too tired or whatever. And
mhm,
then it's up to you to like go and do a bunch of research and try to
mhm,
find a practitioner that's going to be able to look at those things and
yeah.
help you. And I don't know, I just have not had luck finding anybody that's Kaiser Permanente will pay for.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's too bad.
It is.
Uh
It's frustrating.
Yes. I just want to, I think we probably ought to have mentioned this already, but this podcast is for your education and entertainment only.
We are not doctors.
We are not giving any
We
medical
are not
advice.
giving any medical advice at all.
Yeah.
We might
Um,
ask each other, what brand is that? Should I try that one? Because that is one of the ways I feel like I can participate in my like
yeah.
wellness is like,
Hmm.
okay, well, if I'm going to take a fish oil, I want to take one that's really clean
Hmm.
because I try to
Yeah.
eat clean, so I want to take one
Yeah,
that's
I
clean.
mean, you don't want your supplement to actually be polluting you and
Right.
causing more health problems.
Yes.
I mean, that's just crazy. So,
Yes.
B vitamins, I mean, this will help with detoxification because those things are also like really indicative of just you're just not detoxifying properly. Especially, yeah, from just metabolism. And when we work out, we're metabolizing more, especially these
Yeah.
proteins. So yeah, so I usually just take one of these, and these are just the methylated B vitamins and the betaine, but they it says serving size is 3 capsules, and she had recommended to me 2 capsules.
Mm.
Uh, but I just and I think she had recommended it at 2 different meals, and then I just like never wanted to take supplements, I guess, with breakfast or something, like I just ended up doing the one, but maybe I should do 2. But the percent daily value of that US recommended daily allowance is so high.
Mm.
It's like almost 7,000% for B2, almost, which is riboflavin, almost 2,000 something, and like B12, which can be really low for people,
Yeah.
125,000% of
Wow.
the USRDA. Because yeah, people with those mutations like tend also to have the low B12.
Hmm.
And the B12, having the B12 lowers the homocysteine and all this stuff. So anyway, so that's the
Right. It's
story.
the whole like system together.
Yeah, so that's the story with that. And then so I have had Hashimoto's, hypothyroid, since like 30 years now. It's literally,
Wow.
I was 21 or 22. Yeah, that was crazy. So for that, I mean, besides like first thing in the morning, I do take thyroid hormone. According to Isabella Wentz, she's known as the thyroid pharmacist, and I think she's really good, has done all her research and has published a couple of really good books on this.
Hmm.
I basically followed her instructions, as did that nurse practitioner. She was basically just doing the same thing as like, people with Hashimoto's tend to need some zinc supplementation. So I take the pure encapsulations, 30, is it milligrams of zinc? And then the also selenium, so 200 milligrams of selenium.
Mm.
And I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, it's not as much as it seemed like, although it does look like, I mean, I just pop
Yeah.
them in.
When it's
It's
like
like
a pile of
it's
pills.
like a whole handful, but which some people can think is like so much, They're like, I
Uh,
can't think to take that. But when you do functional diagnostic nutrition like I did, oh my gosh, there's so many supplements you end up needing, or like I used to take more, I think.
yeah. Well, so John and I used to watch this YouTube channel called Kid Snippets, and they had kid history, and it was kids' voices with adults like using their mouth. So it's voiceover with these kids' voices. And it was essentially these kids of the adults who were brothers retelling stories from their childhood. And the boy's mom had been into healthy food, healthy cooking, healthy
Mm.
living. And in one, maybe we'll have to like link it in the show notes or something. So she's making pancakes and she puts tofu in it. She's like singing and she's putting the tofu in. She's like, no one will ever know.
Uh,
And the kid's like, why are these pancakes so thick, Mom?
uh,
But part of the funny thing was, now take these pills with it. And she like dumps this entire handful of like supplements next to the child.
oh my God.
So when John and I started doing fertility stuff, I was like, okay, now you have to take these pills. Take these
Yeah.
pills now. he's always joking. Anne's never met a supplement that she doesn't think is going
Right.
to change her life. So he started taking a methylated B
Oh,
that
good.
dissolves under his tongue.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to look into that thorn one though, because that
Mhm.
sounds like potentially something good to
Mm.
try out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to force him to take supplements because I even have to force him to take an allergy pill.
Oh man.
I don't understand. It's like, okay, well, are you enjoying wheezing like that?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because he's never really had allergies
Yeah. And suddenly.
but he's like, oh, take another pill. Like, it's not bad. It's not bad to take a supplement. And
Yeah.
he also is like, well, should I feel different now? So that is
Right.
something that, right? If you are taking something
It's good.
daily and
Yeah.
you don't tell a difference, is that something then you should just keep taking and spending money on, or are you just
Oh,
spending money?
it totally depends, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, so some things, I mean, some things you're gonna notice faster than others, and it's really hard to say like what's affecting what, but certain things you can certainly test for,
Yeah.
and that's the way to go. You can order. I don't know if so there are 4 states that it's illegal to do this, or you just can't do this. But from certain sites, one of which is directlabs.com,
Hmm.
you can just order your own tests, your own blood tests. Um,
Oh.
yeah, they send you a doctor's prescription, and then you go to Quest Labs, or
Mm.
it might be the other one. Wait, LabQuest,
LabQuest.
LabCorp.
Okay.
It's one or the other of those. And then they send you your results. Now you need to know how to interpret that and what to do with it, if you're
Hmm.
not going to work with anybody. But at least, for something like vitamin D, it's straightforward. You can certainly
Yeah.
find guidelines for that,
Right.
online, and just
And start
at
supplementing and
least
then
have an idea.
retest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That it is a weird thing of like, well, I should be feeling something.
And it's pretty reasonable. Yeah. And you can
Hopefully
do
that'll
that
become,
for heavy metals and things like that too. And there's all kinds of things you can test. Yeah, I mean, a lot of places you can do a whole metabolic panel, same as what you would
oh,
do at a
wow.
doctor. Yeah, and they will give you the ranges and all that. So,
Hmm.
you're getting the same information that the doctor would. Like, it's going to show when something's out of range.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure I'm remembering that correctly. So,
Interesting.
yeah, but I know it's illegal in New York State. I don't
Okay.
remember. I'm gonna look. I think New Jersey too. I'm gonna look what those 4 states are that you can't do it. Uh, those
You may
fascist
not
states. No.
get your own blood work
Yeah,
done.
yeah. I mean, they're just like totally, in the hands of the um,
Yikes.
doctor lobby or whatever. Does it
Yeah.
say? Um, I'm looking on the website. They have tests of the month. You can diagnose yourself for celiac. There's like all kinds. I mean, and then there's test categories. You can, yeah, everything you can do. Most popular tests, they say. 10 most important tests. Like, I mean, you can,
Well,
well,
and
yeah, it
that's
doesn't
makes it
say which
really,
places. Hmm.
for people who are well versed and have education like in functional diagnostic nutrition, but
Yeah.
don't have an MD, so they can't necessarily get a prescription for a test or a lab.
Hmm.
It's nice to be able to go have access to it somehow.
Yeah. So do you take any others later in the day?
I do. I do
Hmm.
take a B complex, and I'm
Oh.
almost done with my Zymogen one. So
When do you take that?
I take that one at night for some reason.
Okay. Yeah, because B complex can be activating. That can give you energy. I
Oh,
think it's better to take it with breakfast or lunch.
okay. I think that one's been giving me a stomach ache.
Yeah, take it with food.
No, I do
You
take it
do?
with food,
Okay.
but
Oh, anyway. Wow.
mhm.
Mm.
And I take a magnesium calcium supplement. I'm not sure why.
Are you taking that like before bed or with dinner or what?
With dinner as well.
Okay.
I think I started taking that when I had such bad back pain. I think
Oh.
I started taking, I probably should look at it again. When I did the Slimgenics program, they did include having to take supplements. So I do take vitamin D as well. And
Mhm.
I'm finishing up my Zymogen before I buy something else.
So Zymogen, is that the brand of your
That's the
vitamin D?
brand.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I bought stuff just through Slimgenics, I was taking I'm not going to remember how much the dosage was, but I was taking 3 fish oil capsules with every meal.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they
That's
weren't
a lot.
huge. They weren't like the
Oh,
Nordic
okay.
natural size.
Okay.
Um, and they had a dropper for vitamin D and K, and I would take a whole dropper every night before I went to bed because then I wouldn't forget because it's just part of my routine.
Mhm.
I I recall like getting my period once and not even realizing because I didn't have any PMS symptoms
Mm-hmm.
and realizing, oh my gosh, like
You think it
being
was
so consistent
yeah.
with the omegas and the vitamin D.
Yeah. Omegas. Yeah. I didn't realize D could affect that. Omegas for sure. Magnesium for sure.
Yep. And I took
And also
magnesium.
zinc.
I think I
Yeah.
had a zinc thing then too.
Period repair manual. This is a really good book
Mm,
for if you it's, the subtitle is natural treatment for better hormones and better periods. And this is a naturopathic doctor in Australia wrote it. And she really gives, I mean, it's really good advice and for yeah, whatever your issues are. But in general, for most people, like a little bit of zinc, a little bit of magnesium,
yeah.
a little bit of yeah, like fish oils. That solves a lot of
It
problems.
it does. And what's funny is when people are like, well, cavemen didn't take all these supplements. Or like, how did people live during the Revolutionary War? They didn't take all these supplements. Yeah, well, people died around the age of 30.
Yeah, and you know what?
And our food
Menstrual,
is different
yeah, our
now.
food is way different. That's like our food is different. Our stress levels are different. I mean, I'm sure they had stress too.
But they
But
didn't have like constant light all the time, like, blue light or
yeah,
just house lights, right?
yeah,
Like they just had a different rhythm.
yeah. And what was I gonna say? One big difference. Caveman. You're asking. Oh, and like, not necessarily selected against to have period cramps, right? That's not like gonna affect evolution. So,
Right.
right? Like I mean, unless like women are having them so bad they're like killing themselves or something,
Right.
or like making other people kill them because they're annoying them. Like, no, it's not gonna get deselected against. Just like childbirth happened just as well when it was super painful. So it never got selected against to be
Yeah.
not painful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's
anyways.
funny. I did want to talk about some of the things I've done in the past.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let me just finish
Oh
my
yeah, your
evening.
evening routine.
Yeah. So, well, for dinner, for me, sometimes, like I said, I take a digestion enzyme, and sometimes I take NAC and acetylcysteine, just one. Now, this is there's a lot of reasons to take this one. Like you look it up, it's kind of like vitamin D in that you
Hmm.
look it up and it's like, wow, it's good for everything. It
Yeah.
seems to be. Yeah, and antioxidant. It's like it raises the levels of glutathione or antioxidant. So just take a little of that. That's also that's the number one recommended thing for like people who are picking their skin. helps about half of the
Mm.
people. And that's sort of something that I've really had to deal with in the past.
Mhm.
So, and, still a little bit. So that I feel like, taking that helps a bit.
It's really
Um,
interesting. That was on my really long list of things to have on hand
mm,
when one gets COVID,
COVID, yes.
and I couldn't find it at any of the stores that I went to.
Oh, yeah. I did a video on this on my other channel.
Oh, we'll have
Did I
to link
ever
to
tell
that.
you about that? Oh no. Then people will know who I am. Well, yeah, it's because it's been classified as a supplement for like 50 years,
Mhm.
right? Since they started researching it. But the main when they started, the first thing they researched it for was basically as a drug. Okay.
Oh.
So, but then it's been just available as a supplement. There are over 1,500 supplements that contain it or
Mhm.
like have it just by itself.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, when it started being uh, researched for COVID, there were like eight, when I made the video, which was I think in September,
Mm.
so a little over half a year ago, there were 18 clinical trials going on with NAC for COVID.
Wow.
Yes. And the FDA in May of 2020, I believe it was, they suddenly stated it can't be used as a supplement. It was in one of their communications to
Mm.
a company that was making hangover, or a number of companies that were making hangover supplements, because NEC also reduces
Mm.
your likelihood that you'll have a hangover because it helps you metabolize alcohol, because it's
Interesting.
all detoxification, right? It's
Mhm.
helping you yeah, so but which is aside from the it's probably working on the lungs or whatever they're saying for flu and COVID and whatever, but who knows? I mean, there could be different mechanisms, but anyways, so because they put out these letters like this cannot be used as a supplement, because they were citing something like a rule, like because it was first tested as a drug back what 60 years 50 years ago or whatever. Yeah, so Amazon for one
Yeah.
voluntarily pulled
I
it
couldn't
from
find
all of
it.
their, yeah, so
I
you
was like,
can,
what the
I'm
hell? It's
pretty
a
sure you still can't
supplement.
get it on Amazon.
I
So
don't I
I
and if it's helping people, what
yeah, so that
what?
is really messed up in my opinion,
I mean, I can
but that video is like people are still watching that has thousands of views, so I'm
uh
doing my best to educate. I actually haven't looked.
so where do you get yours then?
Swanson, where it's really cheap. Swanson.com, 10
Okay.
bucks.
Is that
Mhm.
like a company? Like, or is
Mhm.
it a hub where you get various
No, they
supplements?
have, yeah, you get various supplements,
Okay.
but it's their own brand.
Okay,
Like
gotcha.
that's, yeah. So I have been often, I don't take it every day, but like, yeah, I often take that. And then before bed, I take two things. I take my magnesium, which right now is, yeah, I did bring it, is I'm taking the Walena brand magnesium replenish, which is magnesium glycinate. Take that, and then I take milk thistle, another like nice detoxifying herb. And it helps me. I mean, I think, I tend to get headaches when sometimes from like heat or exercise or stress, like that's just been my history, and so these kind of supplements seem to make that better,
Nice.
the detox stuff, so
Yeah. Well,
that's it.
kind of a weird question because it's not necessarily a supplement, but it does have
Mm,
to do with detoxing. I
mhm.
want to know your thoughts on ionic foot baths.
Oh, I don't know.
Because have you
I
ever done one?
No, I haven't.
Okay, because the water is
I know it turns,
disgusting.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they even have like
Well,
a chart of like
uh-huh.
what disgusting level it is and like what is going on. And
Yeah. I do have a friend who's a chiropractor who's very smart and, does a lot of research into holistic methods or, just different things. And she's who I heard about it from. So yeah, she
Hmm.
thinks it's pretty good.
Because I wonder if it's really great, why
Mhm.
doesn't everyone have one in their house?
Oh, well,
Because I don't want to go pay $50 every time.
yeah. I don't know. I think most people don't know a thing about it, for one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just
And
thought about that today. Should I buy
I
an
don't know.
ionic foot bath?
Really, it just seems kind of gross to me. I don't know. It just doesn't seem that appealing.
Well, it's
I've
gross.
used I've used castor oil packs for detox, and I've used them like, oh, I've done them for liver, over my liver. I've done them because I used to have, I had like, you could test this. I had the sluggish liver
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and I would use them sometimes like over my uterus. That helps. I mean, you could use that for like just breaking up whatever is going
Mm-hmm.
on there. If you tend to have fibroids or something, I had, a gynecologist back then. She was like, "You have some small fibroids." So I was like, "Oh, let me do the thing, the castor oil packs." It also works for, what do you call it, constipation,
Mm.
which that talking about detoxification is very
Yeah,
important to be pooping
very.
every day. Yeah.
Or more than one time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think one is good. I mean, two is fine, better, maybe. I don't know. But I think like if you're at least going every day,
Yeah.
I don't
Make
think
sure you're
you should
going
be
every day.
concerned. Yeah.
When somebody's like, I went this week. What?
That's real bad.
Yeah. That's just, you're
Real
blocked up.
bad. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so this was back in the early 2000s because I was living in LA and I would go home to visit. And my parents, I don't remember what brand this is. Because my mom never told me what brand. They just called it the Cure.
Wow.
Oh, I've got to take my cure. What? Oh, it's my cure. It was like a powder that they put in water.
But you don't know what it
And
was.
I don't remember.
Metamucil.
No, but
No.
they bought it through somebody from church. So I'm pretty sure it was
Oh,
some like MLM
MLM.
type thing
Mhm.
that, and they joked that they called this like the cure.
Sure. Yeah.
um, and then I remember my mom being like, well, I didn't really notice anything from the cure. So later on, I started taking a Moringa thing.
What's that?
Moringa, how do you say that? Or maybe, yeah, I think it's called Moringa.
Mm.
It increases your, okay. Moringa contains all 9 essential amino acids. The leaf powder contains all essential amino acids at a high concentration.
Oh,
This
it's a
means the
leaf.
human body can synthesize every human protein by merely using a Moringa supplement.
So it's a protein supplement.
Well, this is what's weird. It
Not really.
wasn't supposed, like what I was taking wasn't supposed to be a protein supplement. It
Okay.
was like a thing you mix in the morning, a drink. And some people were using it for like hyperactive kids. Somebody told me I needed to take it for getting pregnant. Then my
Mm.
mom needed to take this for cancer.
I've
And
never heard of this.
yeah,
So
then
weird.
the company
Okay.
now is out of business. I mean, you can
Uh,
still get Moringa stuff, but
yeah.
the company's out of business. Probably because they were making claims.
Right.
I found out later that it's a really powerful adaptogen and that people who are more like Vata
Mhm.
should not be taking things like Moringa because of
Hmm.
how it can affect you. Then we started taking, oh my goodness, why can I not think of the name? It's a company and they call themselves the mental wellness company. So they have prebiotics, probiotics. Oh, it's called Amare. So I got like a starter pack or whatever, and you take a drink in the morning and it did not taste good to me. And then you take some like pills.
Yeah.
And, there were all these testimonials of people.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Gosh, we could spend like an entire day talking about probiotics.
Yeah. So this one, it's always, they've got the prebiotic and the probiotic in it. And I'm not against this idea at all. Like I definitely understand there's a gut brain connection. John seemed to do quite well with it. Like to the point where one day he started like reorganizing the shop and like taking on more activities of like, I was like, oh, wow, you must feel good. But for me, it like created suicidal ideation.
Oh my God.
And
wow.
Unfortunately, the lady that I bought it from is not a doctor, but she wanted me to contact her upline, who is not a doctor,
right,
to talk about, I was having severe heartburn every day in the afternoon, even though I took it in the morning. And then I was having the suicidal ideation.
Yeah.
And
so like, stop taking it for sure.
I did.
Like
but
you don't need a doctor to tell
but they
you
were
that.
trying to like have workarounds or whatever of like,
Oh
well, you
my
could do this or you could do
God.
this, or like,
That's horrible.
you just don't know though, because you're just selling a supplement and my body doesn't like this. Like maybe it's really great for most people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I can get into the cynical, like, oh, so that's gonna fix it all.
Wasn't it in Roar that cited a study that people taking supplements overall lived less long and like died sooner or something like that? I swear that was in there. There was some study. Yeah. And it was one of those long-term, relatively big studies.
Do you think it was like a sound bite? Did she put it in like a call out box? Do you remember?
But I'm sure I highlighted it. So I could find it later and send it to you or whatever. Yeah, I think if we talk about supplements we have taken, we can literally be here for a week just with me alone, because I've had a lot of health issues. I'm like the healthiest I've been in a long time. I mean, maybe like ages, so yeah, I took a lot of supplements and a lot of things were really helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that's the thing people have to realize too. It's some of them, it might just be for a time. It's not like you have to be taking 25 pills every day for the rest of your life.
But I was always guided by tests, whether it was through the naturopathic doctor, who I was so grateful. In California, you can get your thyroid hormones from a naturopathic doctor. You don't have to go to an MD. I got tests there, and then I did functional diagnostic nutrition where we tested on ourselves during the training program, and I got tests there, and I could see some other things going on, and like, yeah, just there was if this is going on, here are the supplements you take, and so yeah, helped a ton. So, but maybe that's a topic for another day.
When we first moved to Denver, I went to a specialty acupuncturist. I forgot the name of her place, but it's for infertility. And I went to see her nutritionist. And that's when she was like, well, you were a vegan for how long? She's like, I need you to eat 3 eggs a day at least.
Yeah.
And then she emailed me the lists of supplements that I needed, and then the list of supplements that John needed.
Okay.
So I put them all in the shopping cart online, and it was over $1,000.
Yeah. Wow. And
was
that just for like a month's supply or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
I mean, some of them were going to be longer than that, but
yeah.
and
But
that just like that
maybe 3 months.
Yeah, we definitely had an argument about it
Mhm.
because I want to do all the healthy things.
Yeah.
And then John's like,
Yeah. I guess IVF is even more expensive,
yeah,
right?
IVF, we spent $50,000 of our own
Wow.
cash. And that I
Ouch.
had my teacher's insurance then, which
Okay.
paid for my doctor visits, except for the day of a procedure. So I had to pay for the
Hmm.
procedure. And then it paid for 90% of all my medications.
Oh, wow. And you
And when you do
still,
IVF, you get like
yeah,
a
a
shipment
lot.
of,
Wow.
things
And
you
you
have to keep in the fridge because,
still spent 50,000. Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's just, and then unless you figure out what to do with the leftover eggs or
Uh-huh.
embryos, then
Yeah.
you're paying at least like twice a year
Oh,
still.
it's just,
Like I
yeah.
know people who have twins that are now juniors in college and
Mhm.
she still is paying for her frozen embryos to be
Wait,
stored.
what, can't you choose not to store them anymore and dispose of them?
Yeah. And then people are like, well, what do I do with that?
Well, they should take care of that. They
But
should
no,
put
they're
in
yours. So
bio waste.
they
Yeah,
like,
but can't you just sign it off? Like, I don't want these anymore. Like, stick them in the, like, whatever.
I
I
think so,
mean,
but it ends up being like complicated. Like I had to have a notary,
yeah.
and like we had to get notarized things
Mhm.
that we wanted to donate the embryos to UCLA for something.
Okay.
It wasn't just like I can stop in and like just take care of it. It was
Yeah.
lots of other steps, and
Yeah.
everything is just so
Wow.
much like overkill.
So, like, even in states where there's like legal abortion to a certain however much, I mean, you can't like dispose of an embryo that is not in a body. Like, you
Well, because it's
just
like
don't lay
owned
it in.
by the person unless you've signed away.
But if you're the person owning it,
Then you can
can't you?
take it and you can throw it away or you can bury it or whatever.
Okay, so you could have just taken it to
But so
or
I
throw it
could,
away or whatever.
yeah,
Because
I
I
would have to,
mean, these are really tiny, right?
yeah,
Like
you don't,
microscopic or
yes, yeah.
yeah,
It's basically 4 cells.
it's ridiculous.
Um,
What
so,
a scam. They're still like
well,
storing.
okay, so I'm back in Michigan to visit. I couldn't just go get it because their bank in the Grand Rapids office, their bank is in Chicago.
Mm,
So like, again, I just
that's
felt like everything was
nuts.
such a cluster and
Yeah. Wow.
annoying.
Yeah, that's horrible.
And I mean, I really don't even know what I donated them to at
Okay.
UCLA, but
Hey.
they told me the fertility clinic was like, well, they've got this going on. Cause I think clinic or, places that are doing research probably put it out to clinics so
Mhm.
they can inform their patients. And I was like, thank
Mm,
you for telling me this because it's going to make it way less of a hassle.
yeah.
I still had to
Yeah.
go to a notary and John and I had to sign it in
Right.
front.
Yeah.
So when we first decided to do IVF, we had
Mm.
to have my mom sign in front of the notary as well.
Really? Wait, so
Yes.
you
And
need
then if we
the
died, my mom was going to be in charge of the embryos.
wow. So you need, and did it have to be your mom specifically?
No, it had to
Okay,
be
just another
somebody.
person.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm like, oh my God, is it like her giving you permission to like what if she doesn't want a grandchild? It's her
I disagree with this choice. Yeah, it was really strange.
Well, the supplement conversation took an interesting
Yeah.
turn.
And what's crazy to me is that infertility doctor didn't have any suggestions for supplementation,
Mm,
right? None.
yeah, no,
And
he
then
doesn't.
that's when I started learning about the products that you put on your body and how that can affect
Mhm,
your hormones.
yeah.
And then I got all excited about it and on fire about it. And I mentioned it to him at an appointment. He was like,
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
my wife and I don't wear deodorant because, you know, the aluminum and Parkinson's and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, do you tell your patients? He's like, no.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
How's your week in the gym?
I hit a PR for back
Yay.
squat.
Woohoo. What
Yeah.
was it?
155.
That's my PR too.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So we did the PR, I guess, a year ago-ish.
Oh, wow.
And I had written down 155,
Mhm.
but I don't think that because I did it on my own. When we had this before, it was during barbell club. So I was really trying to finagle when I went to the gym because going to barbell club was 3 workouts a week. And then I had my own. Anyway, so I did my back squat on my own at open gym
Oh, wow.
before. And I put 150 on the bar, but I can guarantee I did not go vertical or like
Oh, yeah.
horizontal.
Yeah.
You know, so I just been using 135 as like the number to go off of.
Oh, uh-huh.
And I was like, okay, well, at least I'll get 150 today and make it look pretty. And then I got 150. I'm like, well, I'll try 155.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks. That felt great.
Yeah. That's fun.
My suckiest moment, games not ready, Medicare,
Right.
would be the Murph prep they did this week was 3 sets. The first set was run 800. And then you get back in the gym and you do 10 pull-ups, 20 air squats, 10 pull-ups, 20 air squats, take a 2-minute break. Then you were supposed to run 1,000 meters and then you run 1,200 meters. Girl, I could barely run 800 meters.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well,
so gross.
I didn't run this week because I just like killed that last Thursday over a week ago now. Yeah, I killed I gave myself hamstring tendonitis again, right at the very top by my butt.
Oh.
And yeah, and it was it's way better. So I think I'm gonna be able to run for Murph. But I remember, was it Monday and Tuesday? Oh, sitting down in this chair for my sessions was like, it was really hurting, but it's gotten better. And I just like when I went to the gym, which I only did 3 times this week, I just did things that didn't hurt it. So today I even skipped the rowing because during the warm up, I was like, wow, this kind of hurts my butt. But the biking didn't. We had one it was like an alternate EMOM that was just supposed to be biking and rowing. And so instead of the regular rowing, I did like with a barbell, I just kind of rowed up, just to have like at least my arms do something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I skipped that. I skipped the running on our Murph prep day, our last Murph prep day. But we did 60, 120, 180. So I just did the middle, and we were supposed to do the mile on either side.
Oh, wow.
So I just didn't run. I just did the middle stuff, but that was more middle than I ever did. I did 60 pull-ups, 120 push-ups, and 180 back squats. Yeah. So yeah, like my arms are kind of sore after and stuff, but so I feel prepared, except for I don't know about the running. But I think I'll be okay.
You don't have to go fast.
Yeah, it's over a week from now, and yeah, I'm almost better. But man, I could still feel it like stretching. Yeah, if I put my legs out, my hamstrings are still just like not right. There's just
wow.
Actually, I should be sitting on a ball or something right now. I will do that. I have a ball. Yeah, just keep on working the areas around it, but not, like just staying off the actual bad spot. But yeah, I mean, I guess so, that was probably, even in just that one workout, I could probably say the run parts were obviously Medicare ready and the other parts were games ready.
I am going to go to a posing clinic tomorrow.
Ooh,
2
cool.
hours of hopefully getting some tips on
Yeah.
how to pose for my body.
And
because-
probably practicing, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we will be practicing.
Wow, that's great.
Because I decided I don't want to hire a coach because it's just too much money.
Mhm.
And this
Yeah.
is $25 for
Mhm.
a couple hours.
Yeah. Nice.
And it'll be worth it because I feel like such a weirdo, like I've said before. I mean, I've been taking pictures, like screenshots when I find a group of women standing in different poses
Mhm.
because I tend to like keep trying the same thing and it just doesn't look right with my body. My upper body does not, like these ladies, they can like just turn like
Oh, yeah.
their shoulders and like everything
flexibility.
else is like,
Wow.
so I need a pose that doesn't need a lot of thoracic mobility.
Yeah. Or you need to do as you said you were going to do all year,
Oh my
work on your
gosh.
thoracic mobility.
I know. Why does it just like get hard? Why don't I just every day lay on the stupid foam roller?
I don't know. Gotta tie it to something, make it a
Yeah.
habit. Be like, okay, when I do this, I do my rolling right before bed or something.
I know. It's like I need to revisit. I need at the beginning of the year again. I feel like I got a little beat up and now I need like a January one. So I think I'm going to say June 1 is like another, because I'm coming back from San Diego on the 31st. So I'll be able to.
Yeah. Okay.
Feel like it's another beginning.
Yes.
I'm such a nerd. And I need like all this weird brain candy type stuff to like keep me going. Like I realize certain things so if you looked at the workouts I had to do for, bodybuilding stuff, they're kind of like, you'd be like, oh gosh, that sounds terrible. Well, I have these games that I play in my head of like, oh, I did 20, so I'm going to do 21. I did 23, right? Or Monday, I had a great day because I got home from the gym and then I ate something and then I set my timer. And for 2 hours, I worked on QuickBooks. And as soon as the timer was done, then I got to work 2 hours on the basement. And then when that was done, like I have to have all these. And if I don't do it and I get out of the habit, then I get like paralysis because I am so like upset with myself for, I don't know. I think maybe I need to like see an ADHD person right now. Because when I read things, I'm like, oh, wow, that is so me. And I kind of cut my meds. I'm only taking half of the ADHD med in the morning because I was having a hard time going to sleep at night.
Oh, okay. Well, change your B vitamins too.
Yeah, I'll change my B to the morning.
And you could take your magnesium a little later too.
Yeah. I was wondering, I might just relook because the magnesium I have, I got it in a pinch and I don't know if it's necessarily the right one. What is it, citrate that you need it?
No, I would
Lysate?
only take citrate if you're constipated. It has a little bit of an impact. Glycinate is a good one, or a mix. The Innate brand has a good, that's like a mix of different magnesiums. My naturopath way back when had me taking magnesium taurate. I don't know why. But yeah.
And like very specific.
They have different, yeah. But yeah, this one's just magnesium glycinate.
The other thing that would help me go to sleep is if I picked up a book instead of playing a dumb game on my phone.
Oh yeah, get off your phone. You got to get off your phone. We should do a sleep podcast too. Listeners, like, yeah, please share what your supplement experiences are and all that. And friends.
Help friends
stay
fit.
Thank you.
Yes, they do.